welcome back, everybody. We are here for part two of week four for Overwatch League Stage 4. This video today is going to be very short, in part because computer issues and in part because time constraints. So, just so you guys know, it will be short, but I wanted to get it out anyway for you guys. So, last 2 days, a couple interesting matches. We had the Spark pretty much down Dallas's slim playoff hopes. We had Seoul establish themselves as pretty much the number 7 team right now and has a chance to move into the top 6. Atlanta Reign pretty much locked in their playoff spot with a close victory against the Justice. San Francisco Shock reaffirmed themselves as the number 1 team in the league by destroying Chengdu. And the Spark edged out the Gladiators in a tight match to give themselves positioning for potentially the number 4 overall seed. Um, the one big picture takeaway that I come out with this is that in this meta, it's really San Francisco and then the rest. San Francisco is so much better than everyone else right now. I think it's not even funny. I wasn't impressed with Gladiators or Spark yesterday, to be completely honest. Um, yes, there was a map where Godsby went nuts on the Hanzo. There was a map when Surefour went nuts on the Hanzo, and they kind of carried it through. But in terms of their Mei Hanzo execution with the Orisa Hog, and in terms of their Mei Reaper, even though we didn't see it much, I wasn't super impressed with either team. Decay on the Gladiators continues to be one of the, if not the worst Mei in the entire league. He is horrible. The Gladiators also have pretty terrible halt hook coordination. They barely ever get any. Hanjo was a lot better at that, but Hanjo's alt management continues to be pretty average to poor. So I don't have a ton of confidence in either of these teams, honestly, moving forward. I think that the teams closest to the Shock right now that are going to be in the playoff picture are the Guangzhou Charge and the Atlanta Reign, and maybe Seoul Dynasty. I need to see a couple more really good matches out from them. So that's a big picture thing. Like New York, Gladiators, Hanjo, Spitfire, even Titans. None of them are impressing me right now. So I think things could. I think we could see a lot of upsets from the teams coming um, out of the play-in come playoff time. So moving on to the predictions for these 2 days. Like I said, we got 8 matches, so I'm going to rip through them. We got Paris Eternal taking on Shanghai Dragons. Shanghai continues their free fall. Paris continues to lose, however. Looking at the map pool, I like the Shanghai Dragons here. They really had some struggles, especially attacking against the Dynasty. We saw a couple of like really strong holds from the Dynasty right away. So Shanghai still really hasn't figured out the 2-2-2 yet, but I see a ton of mistakes from Paris every time out. They'll take a map, but in the end, they'll go down to a superior team once again, 3-1. Next, we got LA Valiant taking on Boston Uprising. So I see this one being an easy victory for Valiant. I'm going to go 4-0. Boston looks completely out of sorts. Valiant is still fighting for their playoff lives. Now that Chengdu has lost, they actually control their own fate. They have a great map differential for their record. And if they can win this match and then one of their last two against either Gladiators or Shock, then we could definitely see the Valiant sneaking into the play-ins. Speaking of the plans, we got Philadelphia Fusion taking on Seoul Dynasty. Philly is clinched in the top 12. They will not fall out of the top 12. They will not go up to the top 6. If Seoul wins this match, then they have a chance to jump into the top 6. If the Gladiators falter in their last match, or if London loses in their last match. So, important matchup for Seoul. Doesn't matter as much for Philly. Phillies look disjointed and disinterested basically the whole season. So, I got Seoul rolling through this one. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe Philly just thinks that they can roll once they get to the playoffs, and they didn't have to be interested in or invested in the regular season. I think it's more likely they get bounced in the first round of the play-ins. I'll take Seoul 3-1. Next, moving on to Chengdu and Houston. So Houston just has pride and the future to play for. Chengdu still has stuff to play for right now. If they lose this match, it is their final match of the regular season. If they lose it, they will likely be knocked out of the plans. If they lose this, the Valiant would essentially just need to win against Boston. And then if they lost their last two, they would tie. So this is a must-win for the Hunters to force the Valiant to go 2-1. I think they will get the job done. Houston is a relatively dangerous team, however. I think Chengdu's a bit better, but they match up relatively well. I think that Houston puts up a good fight, and they go to 5, and Chengdu finishes it out on the tiebreaker map. Next, this is an interesting one. London Spitfire, Atlanta Reign. So Atlanta, with their performance against Washington, they got another step closer to convincing me that they are a legitimate contender. I really do like this team. Erster really holds it together, and I don't think they have a bona fide weak link. Um, they have everything covered pretty well. Spitfire continues to be an enigma. We will see which Spitfire comes out. I think that Atlanta will get a couple of really nice holds, though. I could see Blizzard World being a full hold for them. I think they jump out to a 2-1 lead. I think Spitfire brings it back and sends us to a fifth map. And I'm going to go with Atlanta here. I trust them more. They've been more consistent. They're on a hot streak. London, on the other hand, is hot and cold. They do know that they need this match, though, if they want to stay in the top 6 for sure. So I think we see a good performance from London, but Atlanta has a little bit better read on the meta and better cohesion right now. So I think they take this one in a close one. Then a matchup between two eliminated teams. We got Paris Eternal taking on Washington Justice. The Justice did lose their perfect stage. They are now down to 5-1. But I do think in their final match of the season, they will take care of Paris with relative ease. I'm going to say this one on Hanamura. I'm going to say it's a 4-0. I think Washington pulls it off. I think that they finish strong, and they really give their management some things to think about going into the offseason. Um, it's hard to blow up a team when they finish 6-1. It might be a little bit of a Dallas Fuel effect from last year. They finished this stage really well, and it kind of delayed. It kind of delayed and influenced what direction they took in the offseason. However, I do think Washington is in better shape than the Fuel last year, just as a side note. Unless Corey just up and retires, but I don't see that happening. So in this one, I got an easy victory for the Justice. Moving on, last game of the year for Mayhem and Defiant, or maybe Florida has two more. I don't recall, but we're getting down to the nitty gritty with these two, and again, two teams that are eliminated. I think they're teams that are pretty well matched. Toronto's been kind of up and down. Mayhem has been pretty solid at this stage, doubling their total wins. I'm going to go with the Mayhem here. I think they take this one 3-1. Toronto has looked too disjointed on their attacks regarding points, so I think maps 2 and 3 are going to go poorly for them. And yeah, I think Toronto will take Busan, and then after that, it's all Mayhem. And the final match of the week, we got Dallas Fuel taking on the Guangzhou Charge. So again, I see this one as not being too close. Dallas Fuel are not quite statistically, but they will be very soon statistically eliminated. The Charge are into the top 12. Their positioning in the top 12 might change a little bit depending on the result of this match, but I think they get the job done here. I think Dallas will probably come out on top on Hanamura, maybe on Ilios, but I think map 2 is their best shot. But then, kind of like the Spark match, as it goes along, Guangzhou is just better at playing this meta. I think they're just a better team overall. They are playing very well, and I think they're just gonna be worrying about cleaning some stuff up for the play-ins, and I think that they roll to a pretty easy victory, 3-1. So after that, it's next week, and it's the Homestead, which of course we will talk about next week. That should be super fun. I'll do a couple videos leading up to that one since there will only be one day. Um, since there will only be one day of matches, or sorry, 2 days of matches, but one video. I will do a couple of things talking about the role lock. I think I have a video about overall Overwatch that I would like to talk about, and the role lock, the implementation of it, the closed beta, or not the closed beta, but the Q beta, and what I think about it, and how I feel about MMR, and what the direction that the game is heading. So look forward to those videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know if you like this format more than my other ones. The other ones are a bit longer, of course. These are not as much. So if you want some of each, you like one way more than the other one, let me know. I'm curious to know what you think. Good luck to your teams this week. Um, Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate you all, and have yourselves a wonderful couple of days. And then I'll see you in the next one.